Everyone, it's Ashley. Welcome back to my channel. This video is an update video from my health journey, for lack of a better term, video from May 25th. So it's been about 2 months since I did my first video after finding out the news that I did about my liver, my diabetes, etc. And just as a short recap, if you are part of my low carb group on Facebook, some of you are, some of you aren't, I did give a mini update when I saw my doctor back in June. But for those of you who aren't in that group, I'll do a small recap. So when I talked to you guys last, the end of May, I was a couple of weeks into my new lifestyle journey, my low carb keto lifestyle, to try my very hardest to reverse my diabetes and to give my liver a chance to heal, liver and pancreas and all the above. So the update from, I saw my doctor about a month after I started my changes in May. And at the time, my very first visit there, my A1C was 7.4. So for those of you that aren't familiar with A1C or diabetic terms, when you are diagnosed with diabetes and type 1s and type 2s and abnormal types atypical types such as type 1.5, all have hemoglobin A1C. And what hemoglobin A1C is, it takes the average of your blood glucose over the last 90 days. And how it reads that is the sugar is held in the red blood cells. And to explain it in an easier way, it's kind of like it has a 90-day memory. And then anytime you have your A1C checked, it's the last 90 days. So if you ate really, really well and you we're doing what I'm doing keto, low carb, then your A1C will be lower than someone who is sticking to high carb cookies and candies and things that are not the healthiest for us. That A1C will go up. So the hemoglobin A1C was 7.4. And when I went to see my doctor in June, I believe it was June 19th. It was not that long after we got home from Vegas. And when I went to Vegas, I did have gelato. It was raspberry and pistachio, and it was so good. I had that. We went to a Thai restaurant, and I had noodles and Thai iced tea that had sugar in it. And then when we went to my birthday dinner on my actual birthday to Peter Luger Steakhouse, which is the best meal of my whole entire life, and I've eaten a lot of food, I had a piece of bread, I had cheesecake, I had Schlag, which is German whipped cream. My husband still talks about that, and we've been home for a little over a month. I had all those things, and the first thing that I ate the first night we were there was I wanted ice cream at some point on my trip, and I had gelato. I saw gelato. I said, well, let's get gelato. My sugar did not spike. I was shocked. I thought, man, I'm curious to see how much my sugar is going to spike up. And I still have my continuous glucose monitor here, so I can see my reading at any time on my phone. This takes a reading every minute, so I know what I'm doing. I can see my highs and lows during the night, or if it stays pretty steady, which is what you want it to do, and all those things. It's a science project. It's chemistry, basically. So my sugar didn't spike, and then the next day was a Thursday. We had, I will say that Marty and I are doing this journey together. He's doing it in support of me, and because I'm the primary cook in this house, I'm not cooking 2 meals. So he had to make a real quick decision there, an easy decision. We did not eat heavy breakfast, heavy lunch, and heavy dinner and just go crazy the whole entire trip. At least for me, I had a triple shot of espresso from Starbucks. We stay at the Luxor when we go to Vegas most of the time, mainly because it's down by Mandalay Bay, and that's my husband's favorite sports books is Mandalay. So we stay, and I don't mind Luxor. We've stayed there probably 4 or 5 times. And we would like to stay up closer to, where Caesars and such is, but maybe next time or in a few times. But for now, I like Luxor. It has everything that we need, and not only that, it's great exercise walking north to go to the main strip. So Those of you that have been to Vegas, Luxor, Mandalay Bay is kind of down more south of the Strip towards the airport area. So I had a triple shot of espresso, and I took protein drinks with me. Yes, I know that the ready-made, prepared ones you shake up in the bottle, they are not the best for us because there's inflammatory oils in there, and there's sucralose, which is Splenda, which is something I'm not supposed to be having right now. But in that situation, the only other options really were to find a place and just get bacon and eggs. And if you have been to Vegas, it's not exactly the place for the health conscious. So I chose to take a 4-pack of vanilla protein shakes, and I went to Starbucks and I got a venti cup with ice in it with 3 shots of espresso, and I poured my shake in there, and that was my Profi, or my protein coffee. And I was drinking a protein coffee for about a month. And then when I got home from Vegas, I switched it up, and I don't do that anymore because I'm intermittent fasting, so I'm really not having my coffee in the morning. I can have black coffee, black tea, and water, unsweetened of course, while intermittent fasting. But I'm choosing not to do that. I'm just having water if I need a sip of it. I've been averaging 17 to 19 hours fasting, and I'm just really, as I said in my last video, I really want to challenge myself at 40 years old and push my body and see what my body can do and how strong it can get. Not strong as in muscular, but strong as in just how healthy can I get, basically. So I had all those things, all those foods in Vegas, and I had an appointment the Monday after we got home, I believe, Monday or Tuesday. And in doctor's offices nowadays, yes, traditionally you get your lab work done, you have your A1C drawn through your arm, but now they prick your finger, and it takes about 7 or 9 minutes for the A1C test to be checked in office. Doctor's offices across the country have it, across the world probably too. And my A1C was 5.6. 5.6 is a non-diabetic A1C. That doesn't mean that my diabetes is reversed. It takes time for that to happen, but that is such a good sign that my pancreas is healthy. My pancreas still is doing what it's supposed to do in making insulin and working properly. And that even tells my doctor that my liver is able to regenerate whatever it can regenerate, that my organ systems aren't at the failure stage at this point. My A1C probably was the biggest shock, and not to mention my liver enzymes, which were elevated, which started this whole spiral. They have normalized, and there's a couple of things. My iron panels are still off. I have fatty liver disease on top of cirrhosis and fibrosis. So my iron, your liver houses your iron and all those different things. Your liver actually does hundreds of things a day that we don't even know about or think about, actually. That's why the liver is such an important organ to be conscious of and to take care of. So that was my appointment in June, about a month ago. It was June 19th, and today's the 22nd. About a month ago, and I see my doctor again on August 19th, and then I don't have any more lab work done until September. He wants to give a full 4 months to see really what's happening inside on a cellular level. So why I chose to do this video today is if you watched my first video, I talked about having a consultation with a liver specialist or a gastroenterologist. I have 2 in 1, a lot of gastroenterologists or GI doctors do subspecialties or subspecialize in hepatic studies or hepatic medicine, which hepatic means liver. So mine is actually a hepatic specialist and a GI doctor. So he sees some of the worst patients out there for a liver. And that's the type of doctor I want, because I want the man who knows the liver. And he actually performed my mom's colonoscopy about a month ago. So I had already met him, and he remembered me. So I I saw him today. I was not supposed to see him for a few weeks in August, but I was on the cancellation list and I got a call on Friday afternoon asking if I would like to be seen today. And I said, absolutely, give me what you have. So I went in there and my husband Marty was right there with me. He left work. He went with me because he's supporting me 150,000% on this journey. And at the beginning, just a lot of adjustments were made in this household, and I've went through some hormonal changes, being a diabetic patient, being a thyroid patient, and also completely changing the chemistry of my body and what's inside of it. I'm not getting hormones from foods that we're ingesting and a bunch of processed things and additives and preservatives and all those things. My body has changed. My female cycle has changed a little bit. It's I won't go into too much detail with that, but it's exactly what happened when I went through my thyroid ablation that I briefly talked about. Your female cycle, everything's connected in our body. So the liver doctor, I was following up on my FibroScan, which my FibroScan, to recap, was the specialized type of test that's similar to an ultrasound, but not an ultrasound. It checks how quickly or how slowly your liver bounces back to check and measure the scarring and the stiffness. The stiffness is fibrosis, the scarring is cirrhosis. So my FibroScan reading back in May was pretty bad. It's stage 4 fibrosis, and I'm pretty sure it read stage 3 to 4 of cirrhosis. So my first question, when we sat down together, and I said, I understand that the FibroScan is pretty accurate, and it actually takes the place of liver biopsies, because liver biopsy, even though I don't want to call it a simple procedure, they take a significantly sized needle, push it through your abdominal cavity, and take a piece of liver out, similar to how they do breast cyst biopsies and such, similar to that, and thyroid and all those things. But the thing with the liver is it's full of blood, and the bleeding risk for liver biopsies is high, needing blood transfusions, hospital stays, and such. So I am not completely in love with the idea of needing a liver biopsy. So that's been something that's been weighing on me for the last couple of months, and I'm just thinking, man, it's even more incentive for me to stick to this lifestyle and to continue making healthy choices. And I'll tell you, I am a completely different person than I was 3 months ago, let alone a year ago, or even in my youth. I am conscious of everything that I put in my body, everything that I drink, everything that I eat. I read every label, except the ones that I know what's on there now. But the first couple of weeks, I did nothing in my spare time but read about liver diseases, reading about reversing diabetes, why we get sick, insulin resistance, all of these things that I have and is affecting me and taking away from my longevity. So Dr. Erdman, Alan Erdman, is my liver doctor. And I asked him the accuracy of the FibroScan. Is it possible that they overestimated my level of fibrosis and cirrhosis? Because since I have spoke to you guys last time, I've joined multiple cirrhosis and fatty liver groups on Facebook, because I thought, that was one of the first things I did, because I thought, man, if I'm really going to be getting sick, if I'm going to be having a brand new job of going back and forth to hospitals and everything like that, if my life is going to significantly change like that and start to decline, I need to have a community of people who are going through it with me. So I did join it, and not only that, I learned so much in such a short period of time. There's different stages of liver disease, and some people can improve, some people don't improve, and I did that just to see this might be what's coming in my future. And some of it isn't pretty. It's not pretty. It's pain and suffering, and some people that, there's a really strong camaraderie there. And I haven't really had a reason to post anything in that group, because I'm kind of in the unknown, because I was waiting for this appointment today. he said that the FibroScan is pretty accurate, and they might maybe a little bit overshoot the stage of cirrhosis that you have. Maybe you're 3, but they tell you you're 4. But he said in terms of you not having anything wrong with your liver, and it's saying that you do have something wrong with your liver, it's not that's too much of an error for them to even, the FDA to even approve that test. So I am a liver patient. I am a cirrhosis patient. I do have cirrhosis. I do have fibrosis. There is no going around that. There is no question about that. I'm a liver patient. I will be now until my dying day. And I will have a liver doctor in my life in some way, shape, or form for the rest of my life. So he commended me. I explained to him what I've been doing. I've lost almost 23 pounds, and I've lost many inches all throughout my body. I know in pictures of me now versus a couple of months ago, I see my weight loss in my arms, my upper body a lot, my neck, my chest, my face, my arms, my legs. The tummy is always the last that comes off, but I've lost 3 inches in my stomach. I didn't take measurements other than my hips and my stomach, but I have lost all over my body. So I know that I have melted some of the fat, the visceral fat that's in your stomach, and the fat that collects around our major organs. We all have fat around our kidneys and liver and heart. You aren't supposed to, but that's just the way that it is. It's and when you lose weight, I have been battling 2 pounds since I got home from Vegas, up, down, up to, down to. And the scale is actually our enemy. We're only supposed to weigh ourselves about once a week because our body goes through fluid exchanges, and depending on times of the month and hormonal, how much salt you've eaten, and a ton of different things that I don't even know about, our body fluctuates from time to time. But as long as the thing that I see is, if I get on the scale and I see it not move, or I see it go up a pound or 2, society trains you to think that you're gaining weight and you're getting fat. That's not necessarily true. Now, if you're eating tons of cheeseburgers and ice cream every day, then yes, that is true fat. But there's 3,500 calories in 1 pound of fat. So if you're eating in excess of calories, 3,500 calories, then yes, you will start to gain poundage. But as long as you're in a calorie deficit, meaning find the base of what your body needs to function to maintain the weight that you currently are, and anything less than that is considered a calorie deficit. I have probably a 25% or 35% calorie deficit that I try to stick to every day. I've challenged my body, guys. I've pushed myself. I do not eat any more than 20 carbs a day. I sometimes maybe have 25 carbs a day. But my body has been in ketosis for almost 2 months. And yes, there's deep in ketosis, and there's light ketosis, there's optimal ketosis, but I have been in some sort of ketosis. And I know when I first started this journey, I thought I'm just going to do low carb, 50 carbs a day or less. And then my doctor wanted me to stay around 40. I'm choosing to push myself and challenge myself, and I'm doing full keto, strict keto at 20 grams. There are days that I do dirty keto or lazy keto because I do have processed American cheese when my husband and I go to In-N-Out. Typically, that's not on a strict, clean keto diet. But, there's so many things that I'm not eating. The couple of times a month that we go to In-N-Out, sometimes we go every Saturday. It just really depends what we're doing. If we're over around the In-N-Out that's near us, what we have planned for the day. We don't always go there. But I do have that, and I am still having some diet sodas, but other than that, I'm drinking water. I do drink coffee, yes, but as I explained earlier, I have tapered down on that quite a bit. I'm not even drinking tea. I had tea, I think, over the weekend for the first time since I started this journey, and I drank tea almost every day. There's so much stuff that I've taken out of my life. The little bit of processed cheese and things that, like American cheese. American cheese is not a real cheese. It's a processed cheese product. Mozzarella, provolone, cheddar, those are true cheeses. And I eat a ton of vegetables. If you're in my low carb group, you see the foods I'm preparing. I try to share new recipes that I'm trying that we really like, and pictures, and I love my roasted vegetables. I'm I have so much fun finding infused olive oils and new spices to try on my foods. It's really it's this is has enriched my life in a way that I really can't explain, other than what I said before, which is I didn't know how bad I felt until I felt better. So, so Dr. Erdman, he has commended me so much on losing almost 23 pounds, losing inches in a short period of time, a little over 2 months. And he said, it's you're very strong. You're a very strong person to be able to cold turkey it and do it. And I told him, well, the alternative is me getting very sick and me not having a quality of life and me not making it till 50. And I am not interested in that right now. I want to do whatever I can to reverse whatever damage can be reversed, because your liver, when you have fibrosis can be reversed. Fatty liver can be reversed, but then once you start tipping into cirrhosis, that's when it gets hard, because you can't, like when you cut yourself and you have a scar on your hand, it doesn't go away in a couple of days. It takes months or years sometimes, depending on how severe the scar is, for it to fade. So think about that as what happens to the liver. But I told him I want to do whatever I can inside for my body to give my body the fuel that it needs, not the food that I want. And I don't have a choice at this time. That being said, Marty and I are choosing one treat a month, or maybe every other month, depending. When we get to the holiday time, it's going to be tougher because everything's in your face about, in the stores and the candies and cookies and all those things. But you know what? I have my end goal in mind, and I want to give my body the best chance that it can have. He commended me on that. The next steps that I have to do is I have to get an ultrasound of my liver. And now why that is just to check to see. The ultrasound is just like an ultrasound with the gel and the probe. And it's not so super sensitive, as he was explaining to me today. It's not super sensitive to cirrhosis, because, excuse me, you have to think you have those waves that the ultrasound tech has to push, and that's why some ultrasounds are uncomfortable, because you have to push to get the waves to go through your body structures. Think of all the water and the blood and the fluids that it's got to penetrate through. So he said it's not sensitive to cirrhosis scarring unless you have significantly terrible scarring, then it'll pick it up. So if I see my results and I don't see cirrhosis, some patients think, oh, I don't have cirrhosis, everything else was wrong. That's not true. The reason why I have to have the ultrasound is to look at the level of fat that is around my around my liver. The technical term for fatty liver is hepatosteatosis. I don't know how to pronounce it. I can spell it. It's basically fatty liver, but hepatic, and then I can't remember how to pronounce it. That means form of fat. So I have to have that done. And then the next thing that I have to have done is an upper endoscopy, or an EGD. That's a big long word I'm not even going to try to pronounce. But the reason why I have to have that is because when you have any sort of liver disease, cirrhosis, fibrosis, NASH, etc., you are at risk, one, for esophageal varices. Esophageal varices is, think about all of the blood vessels that are on your esophagus and in your stomach and all those things. And the liver living right next door to your stomach, and all the blood and the vessels that are in the liver. Sometimes those vessels can become enlarged and they get irritated and they can start to leak blood into your stomach and they can go up into your esophagus. when you have esophageal varices, they have to either inject them or they have to cauterize them somehow to get them to stop bleeding. I am at a higher risk for that for the rest of my life. And I'm also at a higher risk for liver cancer now. Whenever you have liver disease, especially cirrhosis, fibrosis, your risk of liver cancer goes up. So every 6 months for the rest of my life, I will have to have a liver ultrasound. And every 2 to 3 years, I have to have my upper endoscopy done to check for esophageal varices. That's just what it is. He did tell me that I'm treated as a cirrhosis patient, just like he would treat somebody who is much worse than me. I'm treated the same way. There are 2 types of cirrhosis. There's compensated and decompensated. Decompensated is the worst form. It's a more advanced stage. Decompensated cirrhosis, you have about 2-year lifespan. Compensated, and that's, everybody's different. Some people might live 3 years, they might live less than, or they might, I'm not sure. But the compensated, which is what I am considered, you can have 10 plus years of life. And he said that is such a wide variety. It depends on a lot of things. It depends on what other issues the person has, their age, their sex, their height, their weight, their diet, all different things. But being that I've completely changed my lifestyle and I intend to never go back to the way that I was before, and it's not that I was eating completely terrible to where I needed to consider weight loss surgery. I did for about 2 or 3 months consider having gastric bypass surgery, but I've always been right on the cusp of the BMI, the body mass index. What qualified me to have weight loss surgery was my diabetic diagnosis. But other than that, I wasn't heavy enough to have gastric bypass or even a lap band surgery. And I thought about it, but then then Ozempic came into my life, and I didn't even tell you that part there. So that's what I have to have. I will tell you, but let me finish about the liver doctor. That's my next steps. I'm waiting for his office and the radiologists to call me to set up those tests, those exams. And I'm hoping to my universe that I get both of those tests back and everything looks good and I continue on the right path and my diabetes can continue to quiet down. Dr. Hammer, when I saw him a month ago, I cried again. I didn't cry till the very end, but I did cry. He is so proud of me, and my husband too. He told Marty he's such a great man for supporting me the way that he is. He's been at every appointment with me. He's very involved, and Dr. Hammer is looking forward to the day that he gives me my official graduation from diabetes, my remission letter from diabetes. Everybody's different. Some people can reverse it in 6 months. Some people can take a year or 2 years. It just depends on your level of diligence and your body. So a month ago, Dr. Hammer, I stopped 2 of my medications at my first visit. Excuse me, I didn't mean to hit that. But I am happy to say that I've completely discontinued metformin. I might have discontinued it back then, I don't remember. I've completely discontinued metformin. My Jardiance, I take 10 milligrams a day of. I was taking 25 milligrams before. My Ozempic, I used to take 2 milligrams a week. Now I'm down to half a milligram a week. I've cut my dose down 75% for the most. Well, yeah, let's see. I weaned it down to 1 and then now I'm on half. So basically the little bit of Jardiance and Ozempic that I am taking are my helpers. But what's keeping my blood sugar in control is my diet. And since stopping those 2 medications and reducing the 2 that I do have left, my sugars are running maybe 10 points higher than it was when I was still taking all the medications. But the goal is to let my body heal and see what my body will do naturally. And I will continue to say I feel great. I feel great. My husband has noticed my skin is glowing more. I'm not tired. I don't have much fatigue. I'm actually sleeping about 4 hours a night, which is not good, I know, but I just, my body just isn't, it's not tired. I get up, I don't have brain fog. I just, some days I would just drag ass until 2 o'clock or so, and I don't have that anymore. And I cannot believe the power of changing your diet and what it's done for my life and my husband's life. So I have I've I have appreciated all of you guys. There's 70, I think there's 76 of you that are in my low carb group, and I will post the link to my low carb group in the description of this video. I always have it in my little blurb there at the bottom. And I see some names in there from the wax community and some names that I don't know about, but that is a public group. So if you have any friends that are interested in it, invite them or however. That's mainly a place to share recipes and just document this life journey, because it's a lifestyle. It's not a diet. I can't go back. I don't have a choice anymore. So several of you have reached out to me interested in changing your lives diet-wise and doing the same thing I'm doing. And I encourage you, it's hard to cold turkey anything. Whether you're giving up soda or giving up smoking or giving up carbs, it's tough. There's an adjustment period, and there's a period of time that you go through where you get really irritable and grumpy for 3 or 4 days. But I powered through it, I stuck with it, and then I'm being given the beautiful reward that I am right now of how good I feel. I run up and down my stairs now, and I pump my arms like a little runner. My husband and I walk 2.5 miles every evening, just about, except on the evenings that he golfs, and some evenings I just don't feel like doing it, but we try our best to walk every evening. We're going to be adding another section of walking onto our walk. We are going for about 40 minutes right now, but I want to get it up to around 50 minutes. It's been really hot here in Utah, so we've been starting walking around 8:45 at night once the sun goes down and it gets a little cooler. It's been hot here, like I said. And then that exercise, I've just found, I don't want to, I'm not trying to be a martyr or somebody who thinks they know everything or not. I'm just documenting this on my channel and making my group to really, for me to look back, if I make it 20 years, if Facebook is still a thing by then, who knows what's going to happen with our world. But to look back at, man, the year that I turned 40, that was a tough year, but that was the year that my life was saved. And I'm so thankful and grateful and blessed that I have those two incredible doctors in my life. And I'm very, very grateful that I have the access to the healthcare that I do. And I'm once again very grateful for my husband being here with me through this. And we've butted heads on some things. I won't go into that in here, but we've butted heads on a few things. Macros, recipes, different things, shopping, and it's just, it's part of any journey. But if you are interested in doing low carb or keto, reach out to me. I get up each day excited for what am I going to make today. And it's not that I'm hungry and I'm wanting to eat all the time. I'm not. I'm actually not very hungry in my life. I do eat my protein and my fat and I stick to my low carbs because I need that for my body to function. If you starve yourself completely, which is what GLP-1 inhibitors do, such as Ozempic or semaglutide, Wegovy, and whatever the other ones out there are, you basically slow down how fast food moves through your gut. So you're left feeling fuller longer. But in turn, GLP-1 inhibitors are supposed to help you change your relationship with food. And yes, I've taken Ozempic and Trulicity, and there's another one I took, I can't remember the name of it right now. It's a different Soliqua. Soliqua was the name of it. I've taken every injectable that's out there, and you do lose weight in the beginning, but you do get sick. There are several, many a night I've spent in the bathroom. I don't now because, I take such a small dose of it, and I've been on an injectable for 6 years. My body is used to that medication. But it's not something that should be used as a crutch or something that you never feel that you want to go off of because you are afraid of gaining your weight back. That medication, they're learning more and more about it all the time. Some say that it can help fatty liver. Some say that it hurts your liver. I mean, and my main thing, what I want to do in my life is I want to get off of all the medications that I can, except the ones that I absolutely need. Such as, when I develop blood pressure issues, whenever that happens, because most of us do. And I'm still taking one mental health medication. I take my thyroid medicine. I have to the rest of my life, my vitamin D, my fish oil, my vitamin Bs, all of those things there that are natural. I'm not so much worried about it. But when you do have liver issues and you're a liver patient, the less that you put in your body, that the liver, because think about the medications that we take, it's excreted either through the liver or the kidneys. So one of them is doing all the work for medications. So with me, it's important for me to be as clean as I can be in terms of that. So that's my little update. It's 36 minutes, man. That's my little update about my health journey. We'll do probably a little update after I have my EGD and my ultrasound. I'll wait till I have my follow-up so I can give a little bit more information. And then I do see my Dr. Hammer in August, so maybe I'll do another video in a month or so. And even if you aren't doing low carb or dieting and you just want some yummy recipes to try, join my group. There's other ladies in there that post. My friend Deb Taylor that I used to work with at my old job, she was a nurse and she's retired now, but she is really big into the health journey. Her and I have talked about a lot of things privately, GLP-1 inhibitors and diets. She actually has lost 60 or 70 pounds and she's kept it off for years. Dessa Bonner from the wax community, she does low carb also. Her and I have bonded over recipes and cooking, and she bakes a lot keto, and I haven't baked yet because I'm still very strict with my carbs. And when you start baking with allulose and stevia and monk fruit, those all have carbs in it, not to mention your coconut flours, your almond flours. Even though they're not traditional wheat flours, they still have carbs in them. So once I get the green light from Dr. Hammer to be a little bit more relaxed, and once I hit my weight loss goal, I want to lose about 20 to 30 more pounds if I can. Then once I'm more relaxed with my carb intake and I can have a little bit more, I feel comfortable baking and experimenting with those things. But all of that's to come. I do little stupid cooking videos on my page and show you what I'm making, and I do a lot of repeats in terms of roasted vegetables and things, but I'm always trying new things. Like, I am always finding products. I've finally found my favorite, best, super compliant protein powder that I've yapped about on my page a few times. But thank you guys so much for listening to part 2 of my lifestyle journey. If you have any questions, like I said, just feel free to reach out to me. I'm always here. Have a good night, and I'll see you soon.